Welcome back to our weekly walkthrough where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. As per usual, my work is nurtured into being by genuine human beings, and if you would like to be one or find out more about it, including just offering moral support, click the link in the bio. All right, so with that, we're jumping in with our week of August 4th to 10th, and we're going to open with our theme, which is the last round reversed. This card it's often comes up when, it's like shoot your shot, like you only have one more chance. And with this, it's a false shot. It is about looking at things like, oh, there's no coming back from here. Oh, we can't do it. Oh, if I don't take this opportunity, it'll never come again. And that's a little bit misleading. We're not actually quite up against the wire as much as it feels like. And for some folks, that interior world is where that last shot is. It's like, okay, you are in a process. Are you going to finish it? Are you going to get it done? Are you going to get across the finish line and really recognize where you're at? So from there, we move into Monday the 4th, where we have our Sagittarius moon trine the sun, and square the nodes, still in mutual reception with Jupiter in Cancer, which is really nice. We got to enjoy that on Sunday. And our card is the Mystic Seed reversed. So this is where we're looking at, like, what are we really working with? And are we using the opportunities that are there? Or are we missing them because we get so in the muck due to all of the rough transits that we ignore the moments when we actually have good ones. On Monday, on Moon Day, really consider it. Consider what you're doing. Think about what it means to be at that checkpoint between eclipses, because we are moving into eclipse season next month. So, really be paying attention to the nodal transits as they're building towards that next story. And speaking of, on Tuesday, we get the moon. And what she's bringing us towards is, we have a trine to Chiron, a square to Mars early in the morning. That's the first one is at 5:34 a.m. and the second one is at 9:28 a.m. And then at 11:04 a.m., and of course all times are in Mountain, we have the moon moving into detriment in Capricorn. And so particularly while we're dealing with Jupiter in Cancer for the year, we really want to be thinking about every time the moon is maltreated, the areas of our chart that she's moving through and what that's telling us. Like, what is the anxiety around scarcity and lack in the Capricorn sector of your chart really speaking to? And where can you bring in some of that Jupiter balancing? The alchemy of okay, I don't have enough of this, but I have some of that. Can I make it work? And if I can't make it work, who can I ask for so I can gather the resources I really need? And we also have, once the moon hits Capricorn in the afternoon too, it does get crunchier because, of course, cardinal sign, which means those gatekeepers of summer are at it again, and we have squares to Saturn and Neptune. So really, don't forget to pack a lunch on Tuesday. Don't forget to slow down in the afternoon, to eat, to really take care of yourself, because you might get a little crotchety if you don't. And from there on Wednesday, we have the Capricorn moon opposing Venus in Cancer, and then opposing Jupiter in Cancer, and that's our morning, really, really early in the morning, 12:38 a.m. to the end of morning, 11:39 a.m. Mountain Time. And then at 5:23 p.m., our next cast member drops into detriment, and we get Mars in Libra. And again, for those of you who don't remember or who are just turning in, detriment just means a planet doesn't really like to be in the sign as much. It's not familiar to them. It's the opposite place that they rule. Doesn't mean they can't work and can't do good things there, but when we're dealing with transits, it's different than our natal chart. We have our whole life to work on natal chart stuff, but with transits, we tend to get the raw expression of that, and it can just be a little bit harder to deal with. Of course, if you have it natally, it'll be easier, so happy Mars return to my Mars and Libra people. Although it is a little bit of a rough entry, and we'll get to that. The moon will also sextile the node in Pisces in the evening. right after moving into void, of course, which doesn't count the nodal transits. So it is like, it's kind of, there's a liminality to Wednesday, and I really want you to watch out for it, especially after Mars enters Libra, because as soon as Mars enters Libra, we are in a sign-based opposition with Saturn and Neptune, which will perfect later in the week. And that's rough. Like, the two malefics going head-to-head, Mars opposite Saturn, is outdone pretty much only by Mars conjunct Saturn, and even then it's kind of a coin toss for whether one is worse than the other. But both of them are not happy to be where they are, though there will be some mutual reception, because Saturn exalts in Libra where Mars is, and Mars rules Aries where Saturn is. And so that mutual reception could be helpful, or it could be helpful for the agenda of the planets and actually make things worse for those of us on the receiving end. And something that stands out to me about that is the Boogeyman reversed, which in the Alleyman deck, the description for this card talks about how when it's upright, it's like, oh, it's the Boogeyman, it's in your head, da-da-da-da. But the reversal means the fears are real. And so with Wednesday, I want you to look at where your fears are reasonable, and in order to deal with them, like, think through it. It's that premeditatio malorum, which I brought up before, which is the Roman Stoic tactic of meditating on bad things so that you have a plan of action. And it's not to stress yourself out, but it's like, if this happens, what is my first step? And don't let yourself say, I don't know. Put yourself in the situation, think about it, push through it. Give yourself a worst case scenario, like mental bug out bag, so you are ready if things go wrong. It will help reduce anxiety in the long run. Obviously, I can't diagnose, I'm not a doctor, and if it really just makes you super uncomfortable, you can skip it. But it can be helpful to recognize which of our fears are real and which of them aren't, particularly when we're dealing with malefic action. And with that, on Thursday, we get a lot more lunar stuff, squaring Chiron, and then jumping over into Libra into Aquarius in the evening, and touching Mars, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto in preparation, not just for the opposition, but for the full moon, because Thursday is our full moon window, and we have the Fool reversed. I would not recommend starting anything. Like, once we hit Wednesday, if you have stuff to start it Tuesday, start it Monday. This is very, like, false start energy. This is very reckless energy. This is like, oh, it seems like the right thing to do, I'm just super hasty. Like, really think it through. If you've already thought it through and you've already planned it, just be aware that there could be some things that get a little dicey. I will say it would be better for ending things than beginning things. And from there, we move into opposition day, and it starts with the moon opposing our Mercury retrograde, and then we have at 12:54 p.m. Mars sextile Uranus, and then at 8:52 p.m. we get the Mars Saturn opposition. And with that, we actually have Queen of Cups, which I think is interesting. There is a speculative and emotional quality to this. There is a consideration to be had. It's like, what are we learning from this? What are we seeing in this? And, what are the Aries and Libra sections of our chart opposed on? Like, where is that conflict? From there, we jump to Saturday and our full moon. And we have all these aspects that I've already listed are still present with that full moon. And basically all of the malefics are talking to it. And then we have Mars opposite Neptune. But that full moon is at 1:55 a.m. on Saturday. So it's basically Friday. And we have Judgment reversed, which this is another one of our, like, don't take actions or make decisions based on Mars and Neptune giving you advice, because that's a recipe for disaster. Like, really just listen, focus, take good notes. Sunday, we get our Pisces moon and mutual reception again. We have a moment to breathe. And we get the moon trine Venus, which is nice. Star reversed, 3 of Wands. We hit the road again. We can put our plans into action again. And we just got to have faith in ourselves when everything else is messing up. All right, that's our walkthrough. Happy week. Let me know what you think. And of course, questions are welcome below.